welcome to my channel, or welcome back. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. If you are returning, you already know it. You are fabulous. All right, so today's video, guys, this is a mashup of Dollar Tree and Dollar General fall DIYs. I think these turned out absolutely gorgeous. Some of these are some of my favorites from this year for sure, and I cannot wait to show y'all. So let's just jump right in. All right, so to start out, I have got this gorgeous rug that I picked up at the Dollar General store for $6. I've also got a piece of foam board that I've got from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to be using some tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. Y'all, is this rug not seriously so stinking pretty? I mean, those white pumpkins, I just love it. I love everything about it. Anyways, first thing I did was take my rotary tool, and this is actually the rotary tool from the Dollar Tree, so I was very impressed. And I just took like a straight edge and was able to cut off that little seam that runs all the way around the edge of the rug. So I just laid it out on my cutting mat, used the side of a yardstick as my straight edge, and then ran it, up and down through there with that rotary tool. Worked really well. I was very impressed with that thing from the Dollar Tree, guys. Anyways, once I got that cut out, I decided to lay out all of my tumbling tower blocks to see how many I was going to need to use and just exactly how they were going to fit, as far as going all the way around it. I did have to cut a couple of them so that I could make them fit. It didn't look perfect, but I wasn't going for perfect. This is 100% farmhouse. I mean, look at the rug. Hello. So I laid out some of my masking paper. I love this paper for doing projects, especially painting. I mean, that's obviously what it's for, but like your stuff does not stick to it like regular paper, like craft paper. Like sometimes when you paint, if you let it sit there and dry and you've had a drip or something, that drip's going to stick to the craft paper. Well, it doesn't stick to this masking paper. It's pretty cool. Okay. So I took a Ziploc bag, added some elephant chalk paint by Waverly, and then I added in some water. I just mushed it up. Tried to make sure I mushed up that paint really well so that it would mix. I knew I was going to need a little bit more, so I added in some more of the chalk paint and then added in the rest of my water. Mushed it up really good this time. And then just tossed in my tumbling tower blocks. I knew exactly how many I needed. I had those ones that I had cut, so I knew that I knew exactly what I needed. And I thought sitting and painting every single one of these tumbling tower blocks, guys, it's like a pack and a half. And those are big packs of those blocks. I just thought this was the easiest way. It might have been a little more messy, but it was definitely the easiest, quickest way to get all of these painted, at one time. So what I did was I just wallered them around in that bag for a good, couple of minutes. I laid them out on my paper. I did use a glove because, like I said, it was a little messy. And then I just took an old towel and started patting at them. And they literally dried up really quickly. Like it was super simple to do. Just throw out some craft paper, a garbage bag, get you some of this masking paper, something like that, and it's so much easier to do. Now, I'm going to be taking some Aleene's Tacky Glue. Y'all know I love this glue. Look at that. Okay, so I bought the bigger one at Walmart. The smaller one's from the Dollar Tree. The bigger one was $2.87. Yeah. Definitely will be buying my Aleene's from Walmart from now on. That's way a better deal. Anyways, I covered the back of this mat in the Aleene's Tacky Glue. I didn't completely cover it. I added enough where I could really get it in the edges, because that was the part that I was scared, would come up. So I made sure to put enough on it that I could get it all the way around the edges real good. And then I just added quite a bit to the center of it. And then I'm just going to flip it over and add it to the foam board. Now, I've not cut that foam board. It's not been trimmed, anything like that. I wanted to keep it exactly full like it was until after we do the next step. Because now we're going to take some more of that Aleene's Tacky Glue and add it to the foam board on the outside edge of the rug. I used a paintbrush just to smooth this in. Y'all have seen me use Aleene's Tacky Glue, y'all, 101 times, I'm sure, on this channel by now. It's just some good glue, okay? I really like the glue. Anyways, I took the tumbling tower blocks and began to just kind of assemble them around the edge of this rug. Y'all, this is so stinking pretty. I'm telling you. All right, so I laid it over my my cutting mat, and used a box cutter to cut off the excess. Now I'm going to show you the difference between a dull box cutter and an actual sharp one. So I'm having so much trouble cutting this, and I'm like, what in the world now? So I grab a new one, and check it out. Hello. Oh my gosh, y'all. The difference is ridiculous. So always use a sharp box cutter. It's so much better. But y'all, that's all I did to this. And I'm telling you, this is so stinking pretty. You've got to let me know what you think in the comments on this one. Those white pumpkins, I love it. All right, y'all, this next one comes in a definite second as far as the ones that I absolutely love from this video. So I have got a couple pieces from the Dollar Tree, some of their pumpkin cutouts, and then two of their little, like, I don't know what you call it, little signs, I guess, that were in the nautical section back during the summer. So I'm going to take those two pieces apart. I just want that frame, actually, is all I'm going for. So I pulled out all the staples on the first one, and then by about the last half of it, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. Forget that. So I just trimmed it off and decided to make the bottom the side with the staples. Why I didn't think about that with the other one, I don't know. But anyways, whatever. I then grabbed some wood glue, and I'm going to add some wood glue to the bottom to the side of this frame. And then I'm going to add some hot glue also for that long-term, short-term hold, like that immediate. And then also the wood glue is going to keep this thing together. Now, I grabbed some wood planks that I pick up at Walmart. You can sometimes find these at Dollar Tree, but I've never had any luck finding them, so I just get them at Walmart. Laid those across the two frames and marked off where I needed to cut. I used the other end of one of them just to kind of mark it off. And I want y'all to look, y'all. I literally did that. I eyeballed this and got it dead on. It was perfect. Anyways, just a little happy dance there I was doing. So I took a box cutter and trimmed this down. It was super simple. I just trimmed it scored it a couple times, and then I was able to just snap it right off. I did sand that down, like where I had snapped. I used this black Ceramicoat paint. Now, it's not chalk paint, it's acrylic paint, but it does dry matte, and it looks just like chalk paint, I swear. The coverage is definitely just as good as chalk paint. I've been talking about this paint for a while, y'all, because I found it on clearance at Hobby Lobby for very cheap, like $2.40 for that big container, and then I got a bunch of small ones for like $1.47, I think, but very cheap, and it is really good paint. So anyways, I stained my pieces. Once I had gotten the black or had gotten the frames painted black and that was dry, I went in with some wood glue and a little paintbrush and just began to piece this thing together. So I kind of figured out where I needed to put my wood glue, and I would just paint it on, smooth it out real even, and then just place it. So I just did that with every piece throughout this piece. All right, so now on to our pumpkins. I broke the tip off of that one. I did. I broke the handle off of that one, y'all. Anyways, I had to hot glue it back on. And then I couldn't get the paper off of this one. It was turning out to be a little bit of a hot mess there, but we recover. It's okay. This turns out super, super cute. I covered the back with that masking paper. No, actually, I think I used actual craft paper to cover the back of that, but I just hot glued it on and then cut it out with my X-Acto knife. I then laid the pumpkins out and decided on the colors that I was going to go with. I had to mix some colors to get the actual blue color that I wanted, but it was like a bluish gray. Very, very pretty. I used some white to add in some highlight to this. Now listen, when you're working on a pumpkin, it's honest to God, literally just like contouring your face. You're going to want to add some brightness and then add some dark here and, you know, just more to give it some contrast. But I do it while my paint is wet. So like with this one, the green paint is still wet. That's Celery by Waverly. And then I'm using white Adirondack to highlight this pumpkin and give it its shape almost, you know. But you're just going to go over it, and then I use that same brush and I will just keep smoothing until I get it kind of blended in, I guess you would say. But it's literally the same as contouring your face. Same process, same concept. Now, once I had my white like I wanted it, I'm going to go in with some Antique Wax by Waverly and just give this pumpkin a little bit more contrast, I guess you would say. Super, super simple, guys. I literally just kind of slapped it on, I guess. But if you'll just do it while the paint is wet, and always remember, you can always go back and cover it up. So don't be scared to try it, you know, just go with it. Do it until it looks like you want it to look, you know. I did the same thing to the blue pumpkin. I added in some of that Antique Wax by Waverly, and actually on the blue pumpkin, I just wiped it back off. I took a towel and kind of wiped at it. I did stain this pumpkin. Now, once I had the other two painted, I set those over to dry, and then I started in on this one. So I stained it first, and then I added Aleene's tacky glue to all of the raised areas on this pumpkin. Super simple. I just smoothed it out. Very, very smooth, very even. And then we're just going to add the material right on top of that. Y'all, this really does turn out cute. You know how much I love cheetah. And somehow I lost the footage of me actually taking or trimming this, but I waited till it dried, and then I just used sandpaper and went around the edges of that raised area, and it come right off. So that's how I actually trimmed it off and was able to get a perfect line around it. Once everything was ready, I took my pumpkins and I wanted to cover the stem with some twine from the Dollar Tree. So that's what I did. I just used hot glue to secure it in the back. Super simple. And yes, that is the sleeve of my house coat. Do y'all craft in your house coat? Let me know in the comments. Does anybody else craft in their house coat? I like to personally, but yes, that's the sleeve to my house coat. All right, so I found the placement of where I wanted my pumpkins to be. I just kind of played with them, sat them up there, looked back, figured out exactly how I wanted them, and then I took some tumbling tower blocks, and that is how we're going to make these stand up. So we're just going to put a little prop behind each pumpkin, and that way, you know, we can have these standing. So stinking cute. I just added hot glue and then added in my tumbling tower block while I held the pumpkin up. And I actually end up adding them this direction and then also going up and down. So I'll put one flat on the bottom, and then I'm going to add one going up and down on the back of the pumpkin. Does that make sense? Maybe y'all will see what I'm doing. Okay, so, well, apparently I don't do it immediately, but that's what I ended up doing. I had them all glued like that so that it would really stay together. You know, I really wanted this to last because this thing, I just love it. Any kind of animal print, I'm so for it. Yeah, there I show you. So, one going flat and then one going up and down. Super duper simple. I then took the cheetah pumpkin, added hot glue where I knew that it was going to meet. So I held it up there and figured out where the hot glue needed to be. And then I just add my pumpkin. It's that simple. And that's going to help hold everything together also. Now that they're all glued together. You know what I mean? Oh, look at that. I love it. Okay, so I then took some of these picks that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. They are so nice, but I do not like the leaves that are on these picks. It's the same leaf on every color of the berries, but you get the same leaf. And I just don't like it. Okay. So anyway, I think it looks cheap. I'm sorry. There you go. I said it. Anyways, I just snip that off and then use the picks. I added in a couple picks that I got from the Dollar Tree, but really simple. I just kind of decorated it. You know what I mean? The way that I wanted it to be. And I also added in some of the berry garland, and I've never had the white and green berry garland before, but I added that in around the top as the, like the little vines that are coming off. But y'all, this is all Dollar Tree from start to finish. This is a Dollar Tree fall DIY, and I absolutely love this. Oh my gosh. So DIY number 3. So I have got this kitchen towel that I picked up at the Dollar General. It was $1. And then I've got this old frame that I got from the Goodwill. I believe it was like $3.99 or $4.99. I was trying to figure out what the back of it said, but I really couldn't make it out. Like it was just a bunch of letters and numbers. It wasn't actually like words. But anyways, I just took the back off of my frame, cleaned my glass really, really well. And then I'm going to take some Aleene's tacky glue, and then that backing that was in the frame, I'm just going to add the Aleene's tacky glue and then smooth it in really, really smooth. So I make sure and get it around the edges really well and then all over this dude. So I just literally cover it with it. Rub it in really even, really smooth, and then lay my towel right over the top of it. I just smoothed my towel out. So simple. And then look at how smooth it is. It's literally perfect, guys. I used scissors to cut the edge of this off. I just literally trimmed it right around the edge. Now, I took the frame and I painted it with that blue color that we had made for the last pumpkin that we painted, that blue pumpkin that we painted. Painted that. I did use a little bit of antique wax and paint one of these little harvest words. They come in a 3-pack from the Dollar Tree. It's like thankful, grateful, and harvest, I think is what's in there. But anyways, I also sanded down my frame just to give it that aged, distressed look. Now, I'm just going to add my glass back in, then simply add in the back of this, flip it over. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of this gel super glue. Now, you can pick this up at the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to use that just to glue this to the front of that glass. And that's all I did to this. It was that simple. And look at how stinking cute this is, y'all. It's a kitchen towel, for heaven's sakes. right, y'all. This next one is so simple. Now, we're going to be making a lantern. I've got 2 of those little shelf sitter signs from the Dollar Tree, and then I've got some dowel rods that I picked up at the Dollar General store. Now, the reason I got the ones from the Dollar General store as opposed to the dowel rods from the Dollar Tree is the ones from the Dollar General store have like different sizes in them, and so I wanted the thicker dowel rods, so that's why I chose to use the ones from the Dollar General. I pulled the paper off the front of the little shelf sitters and sanded them down really well. I also flipped them over, took the hanger off and the tag. Now we're going to be using some Antique Wax by Waverly, and then also some of this black Ceramicoat acrylic paint. Y'all, this is such good paint. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I painted the 2 shelf sitters with the black, and then I painted my dowel rods with the Antique Wax. I wanted that contrast of the 2 colors. I just thought it would look really nice for fall. I also sanded down the little shelf sitters to give them that distressed look. And then I also sanded a little bit on my dowel rods. Now, this is so simple. I told you guys this was going to go super fast. It's so simple. I just added a little bit of hot glue to the corners of one of my little shelf sitters. Super simple. I kind of add the glue to the side and then let it kind of pull up on the bottom so that I've got hold on the side of the dowel rod and then also on the bottom of the dowel rod, if that makes sense. Anyways, it's very easy to do. Now, I took this little like chunky wood round from the Dollar Tree, and then also I had this metal lid from a candle, and I glued the 2 together. And this is what we're going to set our candle on in the bottom of this lantern. I also had, I needed 2 of the chunky wood rounds, but I only had 1, and then I had this flower that was kind of chunky as well. So I just used it, glued all that together, and then glued that down to the bottom of my lantern. Very simple. I add hot glue to the corners of my top piece and then just pop that dude right on top. Make sure that my dowel rods are in place in the corners, and then just hold it together and let that dry. All right, now the fun part, we're going to decorate it. So I picked up this garland. It's like a eucalyptus garland from the Dollar General store. It was only $3, and I just wound it around into a circle so that I could fit it around that little candle holder that we just made. So it's kind of snuffed up underneath it. It's kind of stuffed up under there, you know, around the candle holder. That way my candle would stand up above all of this. I also added in some pumpkin picks that I got from Walmart. Very cute. I think they were like 97 cents a piece. Throw it in a candle, and that was it. I love this. I think it is simple yet super pretty. Okay, so this last one is more of a kind of hack instead of like a DIY, I guess you would say. Anyways, I picked up these 2 gorgeous dough bowls at the Dollar General store, guys. One was $10. The smaller one was $6. I then got some of this pumpkin scatter for $3 a piece at the Dollar General store. Throw that into my dough bowl. Now, I'm going to save the smaller dough bowl for another DIY. I've got something else in mind for it. So we're just going to be using the larger one today. But I just wanted to show you guys how I styled this. So I guess it's more of a styled DIY than a hack. I don't know what to call this one. But anyways, I just arranged my pumpkins and all my scatter onto the dough bowl. I also used a few of the little white pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. Just throw those in there. But this was so super simple, so fast. And let me tell you something. It looks stunning. Ah, I love it. All right, guys, that is it for today. I hope that you all have enjoyed these. I always have a big time doing DIYs like this. I love fall and Christmas so much. There's just so much stuff that you can do, and it's so simple, and you can decorate your house for so inexpensively. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with your friends and family, and subscribe. That would be awesome. Plus hit that notification bell so that you will know each time I upload a new video. Speaking of new videos, I wish you guys would go check me out over on TikTok. I just opened an account on TikTok. It's blessed.beyond.measure1. That's how you'll find me. So go check that out. Thank you again. This has been a great video. I've had such great time doing this, and I hope that y'all enjoy. Y'all have a blessed day.